Well, that was an exciting qualifying here for the British Grand Prix. But as we expected, the man Lewis Hamilton put it on pole. So, Lewis, not the easiest route to that pole position, but an amazing couple of laps there in Q3.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, obviously there's a relatively big gap, obviously, between us and third place. But it doesn't matter, you know, at the end of the day, Valtteri is pushing me right to the end, to the limit, and he'd been doing such a fantastic job all weekend. I made some changes going into qualifying, and it was worse. So it was a real struggle out there, and this track is just awesome because it's, as you know, with a gust of wind, you have a headwind and tailwind and crosswind in different parts of the circuit. So it's like juggling balls whilst you're on a moving plate, you know, and at high speed.
Nice analogy.
Yeah. And obviously we had that spin, which, you know, it's all about, qualifying's a lot about confidence and building, as you know. And damn, I had that spin and I was already down. I was struggling through the first section every lap. And I don't know how, but with some deep breaths, managed to compose myself. And Q3 started off the right way. Still wasn't perfect the first lap, but still a really clean lap. And the second one even better. So it never gets old, that's for sure.
I bet. As you can see, this is quite an unusual British Grand Prix. I know you love the fans. It really does lift you here. Have you got a message for the guys that aren't able to be here today?
Yeah, honestly, look, you can see them all empty here. And normally you have the kind of sirens going off. You see the flags everywhere. You see smoke. And the atmosphere is buzzing. And so you normally get out the car and there's just a different energy. So we definitely miss them, but hopefully they were happy with that turnaround back home. And I again just want to say a huge thank you to this team, the guys at the factory not far away from here, that are constantly working tirelessly to push us forwards, develop, and we're continuing to do so. So I'm really proud of him, proud to be a part of it.
Thanks, first.
Thanks, man.
Valtteri, it was looking so strong through Q1, Q2, and this guy, after a spin, is able to just pip you in Q3.
Yeah, it was pretty good qualifying until Q3, really, so felt really comfortable with the car and with both tire compounds, so I was just really waiting Q3 to get everything right, and by the time Q3 I started to drift a bit more with the rear end than I was hoping, so I don't really know. Obviously Lewis found more than me, so that ultimately he did a really good job today and deserved the pole, so for sure it's disappointing, but need to look into it.
Yeah, so tomorrow it looks like it's just a two-horse race tomorrow. You guys are so far in front of the rest. Are you able to do anything with the strategy to find a different way to the finish line to hopefully challenge Lewis at least?
I think my long-run performance this weekend has been really good, so I believe there will be opportunities, and obviously Lewis last year managed to win it from second place with different strategy than me, so yeah, everything is still wide open, and no doubt the guys, they will try to mix it up behind, so we'll see.
Thanks, Valtteri.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Max. Max, it must be really tricky after a session like that. You know, you've got the maximum out of the car, and you're a second off of the guys in front, pretty much. So, what can you take from this quali session?
Well, I think the lap itself, at the end of Q2 was pretty good, but you could see, of course, very early onwards in qualifying they were just way too fast, like they have been, the last few races. So you just have to accept that. You try to do the best you can, and that's P3 for us. So I'm pretty pleased about that. Also, after Hungary, to come back and now be P3 in qualifying, I think is a good start. And in the race, it's different. I think, automatically you're a little bit closer in the race. I mean, I don't say that I'm going to fight them, but at least, you have a fighting chance starting third.
We know you're going to fight them, Max. How is the car around here? Because it's obviously, we all know Silverstone is a very open track, very windy today. Does that have a big effect on what the car's doing?
Yeah, especially anyway with these new type of cars from the last few years. They're very sensitive to wind because they're that big and that wide. And especially here in Silverstone, you can really feel like yesterday, for example, it was really tricky in the low-speed corners. Today the wind changes and it becomes like a completely different car. Luckily in the right way, because today was a lot more fun to drive. But yeah, it is very sensitive.
Thanks, Max.